Every abandoned town has an air of sadness, but none compare to the tragic past of Dawson, New Mexico. What sprouted as a promising company town for Dawson Fuel Co. in 1901 soon became home to a series of devastating decennial explosions in the coal mines. 3 lives were lost in 1903, over 250 perished in 1913, and 123 died in 1923. At its peak, Dawson's population reached numbers around 9,000, mostly recent immigrants from Europe and Mexico. When the 1913 explosion shattered the community, people started moving on. In 1906, the Phelps Dodge Corporation bought the Dawson mines. This company was determined to make Dawson a modern city. In its heyday, the town was a booming community that included a company mercantile department store, a modern hospital, a theater, a swimming pool, bowling, baseball park, pool hall, golf course, lodge hall, and even an opera house. In the decades that followed these disasters, the demand for coal slowly declined until finally the last mine closed in 1950. The area was sold, most of the structures were demolished, and the few remains of Dawson were left to decay. Today, this ghost town features more ghosts than town. The only notable landmark left is the Dawson Cemetery, where a sea of white crosses represents the nearly 400 people who died in the mine explosions. Mass casualty sites breed paranormal activity, explaining how the desolate land that once held up Dawson is now one of the most haunted places in America. Visitors have reported seeing lights like those on a mining helmet dancing around, hearing untraceable moans and voices, and coming across ghostly figures that vanish if you get too close. Explore at your own risk. The site then returned to a private ranch, who occupied a few of the remaining dwellings in the lonely cemetery. Soon after the first disaster, scary stories started to spread through Dawson. People heard wails and moans coming from the cemetery at night. Others passing the cemetery gates after sunset reported seeing strange human-like figures walking through the darkness. These forms vanished the moment anyone tried to approach. There are several written reports that the citizenry of Dawson felt their cemetery was haunted. Today, the iron gate to the burial ground still stands with metal letters spelling Dawson. Many witnesses reported feeling strange cold spots near specific graves on otherwise hot days. These cold spots and other strange stories of male voices whispering words of warning and danger were also reported. At night, the cemetery is more active. People today still hear full-throated moans and see human-shaped patches of fog drifting through the area. These forms dissipate into the night air, leaving no trace. The men that lost their lives so abruptly, over 100 years ago, are restless.